everybody, it's Anna, Lovely with Lard, here at Sobremesa Farm Kitchen. And boy, do I have a treat for you today. I'm going to be making something that warms my heart. When somebody asks you if you were to have one more meal, what would you choose? And let me tell you, this is something that I would choose, that I would throw in that mix. I would have it over a filet mignon. I would have it over lobster, anything crazy like that. This alone by itself I can consider a meal, but many people put it as a side dish. My family does it as a side dish. This is something my grandma used to always make for us and for her family, and so it is a family favorite for cousins and my aunts and uncles. This is my beautiful grandma right here. This is on my mom's side of the family right here. This is Bonita Barch. And Bonita Barch, as you can see in that picture, was so happy. If you can see that, that's how I remember my grandma. Always laughing, always smiling, and would invite anybody into her home. She was the prime example of Hebrews when it says, don't be afraid to entertain strangers because you don't know who you're going to be entertaining. You might be entertaining angels. My grandma would always have enough food to feed an army, even if it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know how she did. She did. And this is something that I know that as a farmer's wife with lots of kids, this was something that was easy for her to put together out of the bounty of her garden. And right now we're in full swing in garden season, and we have plenty of fresh green beans, and I have fresh potatoes from my garden. So this little side dish or a meal that I could totally consider it a meal. My cousin Kay and I, oh my gosh, we used to go to my grandma's house over the summer for like a week or two, and we would make ourselves so sick, okay? If you're watching this, I know you remember because we giggle about that sometimes still as an adult. So we are going to be making Bonita's Bounty, and I have tweaked it just a little bit. Her original recipe was amazing, but I made it just a little bit better. So few simple ingredients and you can eat like a king, and it will warm your soul. So here are the ingredients that you need to gather for the simple dish. Now that we have our mise en place, all our ingredients gathered up, I'm going to actually finish up cutting up my potatoes. I went ahead and I washed my green beans really well from my garden, and then I just, I snapped off the ends, and then I just broke them into about an inch and a half pieces. So depending on the size of your green beans, you can slap them just in half, or you can snap them in threes. Just kind of up to you on what you want. Potatoes we're cutting into eighths, so I'll show you what I mean by that. I have a bowl of water that I'm putting my chunked potatoes in. You don't want your potatoes to get oxidized and brown, okay? So we put them into a bowl of water, and then before we use it, we'll just drain it off. So here's one of my new potatoes that I grew from my garden, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it in half. Cut that half in again, so we're going into fourths, and then that fourth we're just going to cut again. So we have these great little pieces right here that we've cubed in to chunks. Super simple. Do it quick. This is something that you could actually make in advance if you wanted to meal prep just a little bit. You could cube these potatoes up, put them in water, and put them in the refrigerator until it's time to cook it, depending on what your schedule is like. Now these potatoes I grew this year, these purple potatoes, I've never grown them before. I was a little disappointed. My husband and I always laugh. We would starve to death if we were trying to be potato farmers. We just definitely don't have a green thumb for potato plants for some reason. All right, so we'll wrap this up, finish this up, and we'll go ahead, go back here to our stovetop and get this cooking. All right, have your heat turned on at a medium to medium low. Look at this bowl. It says Hartley Creamery, Hartley, Iowa. We found that at an antique store here in
Arkansas. There it is, our Hartley Creamery again. We're just adding all of our ingredients, except the only ingredient that we're not adding right now is our heavy cream, which will come in later in play. Just make sure that we're giving it a slight stir. All right, we got everything in our pot. We're gonna go ahead and cover it, and we're gonna cook it for 10 minutes with the lid on. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and take the lid off. Woo, it's hot. Look at all that steam. Brush some of that steam away so you guys could see this. It's in a nice rolling boil. And we're just gonna go ahead and give it a stir and let it cook for another 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, as we've cooked it without the lid on for another additional 10 to 15 minutes, I'm giving it a little stir here. And I'm gonna go ahead and check a potato to make sure that it's cooked. We wanna make sure that they are nice and done. You don't want them hard, but you also don't want them super mushy. So you gotta find a happy medium. And it looks like we're ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and add our heavy whipping cream, our half a cup of heavy whipping cream to this. And then we'll give it another good stir. Okay, so we're gonna let it cook for just one more minute to heat all the way through, and we will be done and pull it off the stove.
All right, so we have it pulled off the stovetop, and I am getting ready to dish this up. And as I said, you can use this as a quick side dish with anything. It'd be great with a steak, it'd be great with a burger, it'd be great with grilled chicken. Really anything. It's a great side to go with anything. It's a great summer side. Nice steam coming off of it. And I'm gonna go ahead. I like to use the ladle. I've had people eat it with me before that don't like the liquid, and that's up to you, but that's part of it. It's almost kind of like a soup, okay? A poor man's soup. So we're just gonna take it. We cooked it until the potatoes are slightly, they're tender, and they're falling apart just a little bit. I'm gonna get my pretty dish here, and I'm gonna go ahead and dish myself up some. And like I said, if somebody were to ask me what's one of the meals that you would like for one of your last meals, I would say this, hands down. All I think about when I eat this is my childhood and my amazing memories with my cousins, at my grandparents. They had the most beautiful farm in Minnesota, the most beautiful garden that you've ever seen. I always tell people it was like something that you would have seen in a Better Homes and Garden or a Southern Living magazine. It was so beautiful. This right here, my friends, is my comfort food. It is so easy to make and not very expensive either. So, let's see how we did. It's gonna be molten lava hot, I can tell you that. Bonita would be proud. So good. So good. There's just nothing better to me in the world than this simple dish. So, from Bonita's kitchen to my mom's kitchen to my kitchen.